So even after last round, I went back and I was looking at all your lap times. And something that I thought was really cool is you were actually the most consistent guy to remain. Your best to worst lap time had the smallest percentage difference, even slightly more than Hunter's. A lot of people probably see you loose on the bike. They probably think, oh, he's the really fast rookie who's just sending it. But everything I've looked at the first couple rounds is you are insanely consistent. Like, it might shock people, like, how gnarly that is. Is that part of your game plan? Like, is it just, let's click out the laps? Do you feel like you've really tapped into pushing it yet, or are you kind of being conservative?
No, that exactly. I've been just my goal was come out here and log laps. Like I wouldn't want to go just implode the first round. So we got through the first round, being consistent, doing smart laps, and I'm riding at a pace right now where I can log laps and be consistent. Where I could notch it up a little bit, but I wouldn't want to. I just don't want to do that yet this early in the season and my first season. So we're just gonna keep riding smooth, consistent, and just keep trying to run those consistent times.
Do you think that mindset, will you be able to stick with that? Say, I mean, we got 3 starts this weekend, so you pop one out inside the top 3, top 2. Do you think you can keep the mindset there, or is it maybe going to be a little bit of go time?
I mean, I'd say since it's 3 races in such a short race, I'd say intensity would have to be up a little bit more. Like I had more intensity in the heat race than my main event, just because we're trying to get to the main event and be consistent. And I see consistency always helps towards the end of the season too. So we're going to keep trying to do that and just try to get good starts. That's my goal for these 3 races. Every time I'm going to line up, I'm going to want that whole shot. So we're just going to try and take off good starts and see where we end up this weekend.
So with 2 4th place on the board, I mean, that's an amazing way to start the season. Naturally, the next progression is to get on the podium, but say next couple rounds we click out some more force. Are you cool with that? Like, is that just all about learning? Does that bum you out, or is that totally fine in your book?
Yeah, I have to accept it if I were getting like worse than 4th. Like if I went and got 6th or 7th, I wouldn't toll on myself. I'd be like, it's my first season, we're learning. But again, if I go podium, I'm going to be through the roof because that's exceeding my expectations. Because right now, Anstey, Hunter, those guys are faster. The guys in front of me are faster. So we got to learn and keep getting faster each week, and hopefully eventually we'll get to their speed, but we're going to keep working towards that. So so right now we're just, another 4th place. If I were to get 4 more 4th place, I'd still be happy. That's good for my rookie season.
Oh. Last one, heard a few people bring up the whole ghosting the bike thing.
Yeah.
Of course, I've seen memes on Instagram, a bunch of shit about it. Have you and your dad actually talked about it? Has it ever been a serious conversation, or is it just stuff you see on social media and you kind of giggle at?
I mean, I see it on social media, but dude, I remember like on a 50, my dad was like, when we raced the KTM Junior Challenge, I wasn't anything crazy on like a little 50, but I was just like thinking about the ghost ride. Then we were like all talking about it because the Supercross and on a Junior 50, but now it's like, are we gonna do it? Like, if we get a win, like, would you do it? So, I mean, I'm not to the spot where I can just go tick off a win like that. Yeah. So, but if it does come around, anything's possible. So, if it happens though, I don't know. I got to think that through. The finish line's a lot bigger than when my dad
Do you ever
raced.
look at your dad and go, man, it's a little gnarlier when you did it?
It's more like straight up and down now. So, we're just. I mean, I guess the turn before the finish. If I'm leading, we'll figure it out.
Ken Roczen, Arlington. I know you've had some struggles, you're working on some things, you're testing a lot of different suspension stuff. What are you searching for?
Well, we had problems with a few different things, but mainly suspension. Like, I've just ridden so much different stuff lately. It makes it tough. For example, a track like Oakland, right? Like, it was one of the gnarliest tracks, and when you don't know the bike and you're still searching for stuff, I was just super uncomfortable all day, right? So I've just been trying to figure out the suspension side, what we need, and like Oakland, I just was super uncomfortable. So finally doing my first press day here. We got some stuff up our sleeve for today, and we changed some things, and I haven't done a press day yet, so I figured just riding on a Friday will help me out a lot, just to kind of get a little bit more comfortable. And but mainly it's just when you ride different stuff all the time, you never get used to the, it doesn't ever feel like your bike, you know what I mean? And honestly, there's a lot of explanations to it. Like, it's over a longer period of time and stuff. And but ultimately, I've just been on so much different stuff that I have a hard time getting comfortable and just getting to learn my bike.
So do you feel at this point like you kind of need to stick with what you have and just fine tune?
Yes and no. My stuff that I was decently comfortable, the stuff that I had throughout my off season, but some things have happened, and that's the stuff that I had the most time on. And I mean, it's easy to say just ride what you have, but like, you need a little bit of certain something to be up front and to be like fully comfortable, right? So I can't just stop and pick whatever I'm riding. I just felt like it wasn't good enough yet, because even all the races that I was decent, and even the ones that I podiumed, there are some areas in the track where I really struggled, and that's not normal. So I have to try to get rid of that. And but yeah, it's been. I'm trying not to put my head in the sand either, right? Like the last weekend looked terrible, of course, but overall, I just try to come every weekend and bring my best. And throughout the week, I put in as much time and effort as I can to try and get better. And sometimes that doesn't happen, but overall, you know, I'm so glad to be out here, and I don't know, just want to put up a fight.
Are you having fun?
Yes, yeah. I've been having a blast. Sorry, let me just.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm here with earplugs in. Yeah, no, I've been having a lot of fun. Of course, when it comes down to the racing side of things, and you're not comfortable, like it's a little less fun. But overall, like about the situation, everything's been good.
So you kind of said last weekend didn't look good. Confidence is such a big, and mental is such a big part of this game. When you lose positions towards the end and you're struggling with setup and not getting comfortable, does that play with your confidence, or are you at a point where you know what you have, you're okay?
I mean, overall, of course, it plays with your confidence. Like I think all of us riders, once we're comfortable, and you can take everything from weekend to weekend and just build on it, that's a huge bonus for us, right? And when you don't have that, and then you know, you scramble when you come to a track like Oakland, like there was just no joke, right? And I struggled when the track was at its smoothest. So then obviously by the end of the main, it was just so bad, and I wasn't gonna kill myself out there and stuff. So I just overall really struggled throughout the day, and just wasn't a good weekend for me.
So getting into the season, we've talked about a lot the dice and the battle that's already developing between you, Coop, and Chase. How different does this feel from years past? Are you enjoying it? Or, you know, to give you an example, I was talking to Carmichael recently for an interview, and he mentioned the years when he really went at it with Reed and Stewart, that he doesn't have as many memories. He almost didn't enjoy it as much because he was so like nervous and tense about it. Are you enjoying this, or do you feel that a little bit? Do you overthink it a little bit? Does it keep you up, or is it pretty fun at this point?
It's hard to say, man. There has been quite a bit of pressure, and it's been tough. But I wouldn't expect it to really go anyway. It's never really easy. I'm still having fun. I mean, as a whole, I'm just really excited how good we were able to be year two with Yamaha, and then once again with a new platform. That was one thing I was pretty nervous about. Was coming in here with a new platform and it working right away, but it did. But anyway, going back to racing these guys, I wouldn't expect anything else. It's going to be tight to the end, and we all kind of have our strengths, and just got to take it weekend by weekend.
I think from the fan perspective, a lot of people look at it as you look like you're enjoying yourself so much the last couple of years. Is that maturity? Is it a different outlook on racing? Is it the group you're around? Like, you know, do you notice a difference in the way you carry yourself on race day, or
yeah.
do you kind of crack up when people bring it up?
It's all of the above. A big weight off my shoulders was getting my first Supercross championship. That had a ton of pressure built. But to be straight up, yeah, it's as you get older, you appreciate racing more. I just feel like you appreciate everything about your job. You just don't realize those things when you're at a younger age, you know. You think about the headaches and not maybe the good things as much. So, yeah, that's why I've probably show that I'm having a better time.
Even with, like, we were just talking about the weather lately. You've been in California maybe a little longer than normal. We've had terrible weather. Everybody has, it's stressful traffic, trying to find a place to ride. Like, all that stuff could easily get you frustrated with your job, but even then you're just maybe finding more joy in it, even now when off seasons or pre-seasons would be easier than this.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, California was a little tough this winter. It was the rainiest one that we've had, so we were bouncing all around. Kept things interesting, though. Kept things fresh, going different tracks. But, hey, I knew that everyone has to deal with it, right? So that's a good thing is everyone kind of follows each other around until the springtime, and then either stay in California, go to Florida, or for me, I go home to Colorado.
Looking forward to go home this week?
Yep.
Okay.
Cooper Webb here in Arlington, the War Wagon's here. You're my guy. Listen, I want to talk about confidence. We were talking on the show the other night, the top three guys can find confidence in a lot of things, but there's also probably some things where you can go like, ooh, maybe not so much confidence. You were like 14 seconds back. You could kind of say, ooh, that's not good, but then you caught that, you made it up in the end. So what do you focus on during the week mentally to stay confident?
I mean, I don't think I focus on anything too much during the week. I mean, the things you just work on is what you struggled the week before, really, you know. So I think for me this week, we worked on a little bit of intensity, a little bit more speed at the beginning. That's what I felt like I missed a lot of. So it's really pretty simple. I mean, I think for me, confidence comes pretty easy. I feel like right now I'm in a great spot, you know, mentally and physically as well. So I feel like I can honestly go win any main event at this point. So that I don't really struggle with. It's more just putting yourself in a good position, you know, and I think starts are key right now. And last weekend, yeah, they just got away from me early, but I just focused on hitting my laps and came around at the end, you know. So obviously you don't want to give that track position away at the beginning. That's what we're focusing on at the moment. So, but then again, like you said, I think every race is different. You know, Tampa, I had plenty of speed and was riding in a good, comfortable spot. So every weekend's different, but the big thing is we're coming into the Big D. This is my jam. I love this place, so looking for a great night.
Yeah, I was saying that track last week, 2 big sets of whoops, or long sets of whoops, and a Dragon's back that was basically another set of whoops.
31 whoops, if you weren't.
What's that?
31 whoops in total.
Yeah, ridiculous, right? And we kind of always say, well, that's kind of Coop's weakness, but in the end, you almost won that race. So I think that's a place that you find confidence, and you must have the bike and you must be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the track last week was super tough. It was technical, it was long, it was demanding, really open, big whoops. So typically, like you said, I think that would have been one that I really struggled, and I definitely did. The one set was not easy for me, but I don't think it was easy for anybody. But yeah, I think overall, that's where we're better this year than I think we've ever been. You know, I feel like I'm hitting the whoops the best I have on a KTM in my career. So that's a positive. And obviously with the bike, you're always looking to push forward. I think you learn still as you keep going racing, and there's a few things that I think we could still improve. But overall, at the grand scheme of things, we're in a really good, sound place. So you don't want to go too crazy. But at our level, you know, with me, Eli, and Chase, and obviously all the other guys with Jason and AP and Kenny and Bam, like, the pace is just high, so you got to keep elevating and getting better. So, you know, I've been in this position before, you know, getting these early races in and trying to get more points right now is key. So the winning is going to do that, and we'll try our best to do that.
Yeah, so 7 points down, coming into Dallas where you're happy, you like Dallas, and then Daytona next week, right about the halfway point. Probably pretty happy with you where you are.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked where I'm at. But like I said, I think we need to get the wins. You know, I think Eli's got the 4 to me and Chase's 1. So it's time to get that ship sailing a little bit again. And like I said, I'm in a great spot though. 7 points down, we're in single digits. I feel like I'm going to get stronger as the season goes on, and I feel like I do well in tight championship situations. So I'm in a good spot. We just got to keep the ball rolling. Triple Crown this weekend, so that speed once again will be important, and yeah, I'm happy.
Whew. So coming into Triple Crown, I've heard a few people kind of estimate like, oh, who in the 250 class could step up this weekend? Well, based on what we've seen from you the first 2 rounds, you've been really consistent. Consistency is rewarded in Triple Crown. Are you excited?
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to be here. I like this stadium. I came here in 2021 when they did the few rounds here. And I like the place. I definitely feel like this dirt is a lot more similar to MTF, where I get to train. The bike's been good. They've made some improvements in the weekend off. Small little steps here and there. So yeah, constantly making progress and looking forward to seeing how it goes. Of course, 3 races, shorter races, got to be intense on the start. You know, anything can happen. But I'm here to have a good time and try and hit my laps, do my laps and hit my marks.
So with the improvements you guys have made, like even yourself, what are you working on? You told me that you're just loving Supercross in the moment, to be able to go home and just think at night, like, what can I do better? This last week, what have you been working on the most?
I haven't tried to reinvent the wheel. I've gone back to the drawing board. I've just clicked off my laps and my motors like normal, but I added some big volume days. I did some big volume days, more geared at the 3 main events. But instead of doing 310s, you know, I've been doing 320s and a little longer, just to just to keep the strength throughout the motor, which has not really been an issue for me anyway, coming from primarily outdoor based. I've always been pretty solid at the distance, but everything that I've done so far on this 250 has been sprint based. So I've just kind of gone back to some of my longer motors a little bit this week, but yeah, again, not trying to reinvent the wheel, just clicking off my laps, doing my marks, and hitting my laps out, and I feel pretty good. Marty's been on it with the bike. They've been working on some different things to keep her cool, and this and that and the other. Happy with how it's all going. So just going to go out and have a good time.
Christian Craig, how the last couple weeks been? I mean, we're seeing improvements on track. Have you been finally eased? Have you really been testing, or just putting in laps?
A little bit of both. I'm still finding my groove in this class, getting comfortable each weekend, and it shows in my riding. So, no, I'm happy with my progression, but still, I do want to be closer to that front pack and top 5 and try to get there. But yeah, I mean, you can see my results are getting better, and my riding's getting more improved. Qualifying's improving, so I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. Just try not to change anything. Just get more comfortable with my bike, more comfortable with myself on the race day, and yeah, things should click.
Last weekend definitely seemed like, of all the weekends, maybe the biggest jump in improvement. What do you attribute that to?
I think getting a start. Not like it wasn't even a great start, but it was just top 10 start and putting myself in that group right away, and then learning the pace. So I think if I could start up there, there's no problem. I should finish where I did, and then to improve though, I got to step it up a little bit. So I think a little bit of pace midway through that I could pick up, and then obviously the start was huge, and I think my average start I looked is like 14.5 throughout the season, which is terrible. So that's to me, my reaction, my everything. So I need to be better on the start to execute that, and then the rest will play in.
Last one, with where we're at the season, where the progression is, back of your mind, what's your personal goal as we get into the later part of the season? What do you think you're capable of at this point?
I think for sure top 5. I think podium is a stretch right now, but there's a lot of racing left, and you never know. I train and ride with AP every day, and he come off a podium at Tampa, so it's not a super long shot, but I want to ease my way in there. Like, I think top 5, battle with those guys, and then just try to keep improving. Be there each weekend, run the laps, get a good start, and see where it puts me. So, yeah, I'm excited. We're top 10 in points now. Just got to keep building and keep improving.
Justin Cooper, man, you've been getting some inside the top 10 results on the 450. How do you feel about your results? Are you pretty happy with what you've been doing?
Yeah, the first 2 were really good, and last weekend I struggled a lot. The track was really tough for me, and just didn't really get a good start. Was buried in the pack and got hit by one of the riders first lap, so I came from back in the pack, but once I got to like the 11th, 12th area, like those guys right in front of me were kind of running my pace, and it was hard to, I guess, if I got to them, it would be hard to even make a pass. So it's kind of where I was at for last weekend, and this weekend just want to put together 3 consistent motos. First Triple Crown for me in the 450 class, so it's going to be a lot of racing, a lot of intense racing. So hopefully we can get up front in the starts, and hopefully battle for a top 5. That'd be nice. What's been the most surprising thing about this 450 class? You're doing it as much as you've been doing it. Yeah, just the depth. It's stacked. I know everyone says that, but it really is. There's a lot of good riders, and everyone's really fit. So no one's really fading, and it makes for you really have to click off your laps the best you can, find a flow, and just do the best you can the whole time. Do you know what your schedule is the rest of the Supercross season? I think just Daytona next weekend, and we'll go from there. I think after that I might miss a few, and that might be the last time you see me next weekend. So yeah, it may be time to start prepping for outdoors and testing 250s. If you were to go ahead and say after Daytona, take a couple weeks off and test outdoors, and then they asked you if you wanted to go back to 450 Supercross, if you had the option, would you want to come back or just focus? It depends how I'm feeling. Let's say if we get a good few weeks of testing. We're feeling good, and we have that option. Yeah, that would be maybe something we could do. But as of right now, we're just gonna hop on the 250, see how everything's feeling with that, and yeah, if we have work to do there, I'm sure we'll stay on that.
Jordan Smith, man, I felt like last round we saw you at was a little bit of mystery. What happened at the end?
Yeah, everyone was kind of wondering what was going on. I fell on the first lap in the sand, and
you made your way through a long ways.
Yeah, made my way up, and really had a really good charge. And then I was trying to make a pass on Hymas and caught his rear tire like with my handlebar and shot off the track and lost a couple spots. I think Mosman and Vial got back around me, and made my way back past them, past Hymas, and was in 6th, kind of just like by myself a little bit. Was kind of a few seconds behind J-Mart and Deegan. And yeah, just something happened with my bike there at the end of the main with about a lap and a half to go. And it was actually about 2 laps to go. I heard something and tried to just like ease it home. It only made about half a lap. So yeah, that was a bummer, and ended up 15th. So not good for a points night, that's for sure.
So how do you bounce back from that early season, having a bad score on the board, seeing the points spread? What do you do?
I mean, it can happen to anyone. So, but at the end of the day, like right now, I'm not really thinking about championship. Like I'm just gonna go out here and just try and win some races. I know I have the speed to get it done. My speed, I feel like this year is better than maybe it's ever been in my career. So, just try and get some good starts this weekend, Triple Crown, and try and get some moto wins and get the overall, and just see what we can do.